This is from Not the Bee. We're going to Canada, everybody, so strap in. We got a long way to go. Canadian city tells disarmed citizenry their homes belong to native tribes after pivotal court ruling. Ramifications across the country. Imagine one day you get a letter in the mail and it says, you are now on Native American land. We gave it back. This is what's happening. Not a joke. Here's the letter from the city of Richmond. Here we go. Please take note that the recent BC Supreme Court decision, Cowichan Tribes v. Canada, made some very important decisions which could negatively affect the title to your property. A briefing paper prepared by the city of Richmond staff is attached to your reference. If you look at the draft map attached to the briefing, your property is located within the claim area outlined in green. For those whose property is in the area outlined in black, the court has declared aboriginal title to your property, which may compromise the status and validity of your ownership. This was mandated without any prior notice to the landowners. The entire area outlined in green is claimed on appeal by the Cowichan First Nations. Given the serious implications of this court decision and the pending appeal, the city is hosting an information session, blah, blah, blah. Please call this number. Well, they got the map in here. If your property is located within this black area, they just ruled by court order, you are no longer in the United States. You are now on the land of the Cowichan tribes, and they own your house.
That's awesome.
In the green area, the Cowichan is appealing, saying this whole area belongs to them. Why? Because in the 1800s and before, they had what's called the summer village. The Cowichan natives in the summer would come here and fish before leaving. Therefore, it's their land. And when the white settlers came and built there, they did it without proper transfer of title. Therefore, your land is now their land. Your home is now theirs. Congratulations.
It was promised to them 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If there's competing tribes, can they like fight each other for this land? Like, if you have different Indian
I think,
tribes, like
the
sticks.
court should,
that would
bow and arrow.
Yeah, I want to see that.
You know what they used to do? They would take an arrow and they would roll it in dung.
Yeah.
And they would
infect them.
Chemical warfare.
Yeah.
Exactly, because then one hit, you were dead. Like you hit in the arm, you die. Just a matter of time. That's crazy.
That's before like antiseptics, right? Like
Yeah.
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 If that went in you, the infection was unstoppable. That's crazy.
Yeah, you turn to your buddy like, hey, take a dump on this thing real quick before I shoot it at the white man.
Ew.
Before I shoot it at the
So what did they do here? They eminent domained it?
The natives were like, hey, yo, that's my land. And the court was like, yes. Well, hey, look, I said this, okay? King Charles gave Canada back. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
King Charles showed up and he's like, I'd like to acknowledge we are on the unceded lands of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. And it's like,
Unreal.
okay. He gave it back.
Unreal.
You know what I think? If they do give this to Native Americans and it becomes native lands, I think the U.S. government should invade it.
Yeah. The U.S. government, if
Canada has no claim to it.
If that's the way they behave, the U.S. government should just invade Canada and take it and say, you don't care about it.
No. Stop, Phil. They wouldn't be invading Canada. They would airdrop into the Cowichan tribal lands.
Look, I've seen these Native Americans. They're a little on the larger
beachhead.
side. I don't know if they could put up much of a fight.
No, not the Canadian ones.
Oh, they're
Yeah, in Canada, they're all like 6'6" and super
Really?
ripped, even the women. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm like, oh, damn.
Remember, no voting rights. We're just taking their property because they obviously can't. They can't defend it. They don't care about it.
Well, listen. My argument is this. You got one group of people that said, "Yar, we're going to steal your land." I don't know if that's how they talk. I just assume that's their accent. And then the Canadians are like, "Oh no, our lands are under attack. What kind of attack are they bringing? They've signed pieces of paper. Run away, give the land back." So in terms of conquest, this historically may be the lightest warfare ever. They showed up and run a piece of paper. It's ours, and the people there went, "Drat! We lose."
They've been disarmed, so they have no ability to defend it. I'm
talking about the Canadian government. If the degree of defense they offer up is, well, you said it's yours, I guess it is, then why can't the U.S. just take it?
It's you were mean to me, so you owe me this. You were mean. It was literally negged into giving that price.
Well, I mean, no, they used it historically, which means at one point it was their land. Their argument is, hey, we used to fish here. That's literally their argument. My argument is, if the Canadian defense of their conquered lands is as if you say it's yours, we'll give it to you, the U.S. can just call them on the phone and be like, that land's actually ours. And they'll go, rats. The Native Canadians, I say Native Americans, but the indigenous are going to be like, it's ours. But the U.S. government can be like, hey, look, been there, done that. Let's just move past the part where people get hurt. I say we take it.
Yeah.
We'll be greeted as liberators by the Canadians.
They just can't vote.
I mean, here's the funny thing, actually. If like, I know it's never going to happen, and I'm kidding, by the way, but imagine the hypothetical where U.S. just airdrops troops onto that land. They then go to the door, knock on the door, and they say, we're American, military. We're giving the option right now. Swear allegiance to the United States of America, and this will stay your land, and we will protect it. Or let the Cowichan take it over. Which one will they pick?
I don't know.
Not the Cowichan.
Yeah. I mean, what would you rather do? Let the American military secure your property and let you keep it and live there forever? Or let the court give your land away, make you homeless, and give it to the indigenous?
I have a feeling that there are enough, considering the things that I've seen coming out of Canada lately, I think that the Canadians, as long as Trump's the president commanding the military that would be doing the occupation, I think they'd be like, no, we're going to give it back. We don't want Trump here. Give our property to the,
I don't know about that.
To the natives.
This is like a rural, small...
What are the demographics of this area?
That's a good point.
I want to know the demographics.
Lands of Tiuktinis claim area. So let me pull this up on the maps.
I think we need to make sure that we are shutting down the drug trade totally from here. So if we see any boats in this area, we might need to start blasting at them. I'm pretty sure that's where this is headed. We might need to do regime change over in the lands of
to Quintas.
To Quintas.
All right.
That looks like a young black woman's name.
Blundell and number 6.
Quisha.
I can't. Right?
How dare you?
To Quintas.
On this holy day of what is it? What's the Indian holiday today?
Diwali.
Diwali. Yeah.
Serge, can you look up what we celebrate on Diwali?
Oh, hey, this is crazy. There's
like a Santa.
There's big corporations right here.
Like which ones?
So there's Western Canada Express Trucking Company, and there's Container World's forwarding services. There's what is this? There's a
It's revenge for the trucker protests.
Post
short all these
2000 terminals.
businesses?
It's shipping. It's a port where they bring in shipping containers.
Can we short all these businesses really quick? Like,
yo, what's going to happen is the tribes that get this land are just going to be like, no, keep doing what you're doing, but pay taxes.
yeah, Indian tax,
Sure.
40%, and not the.
I don't even know how many houses are actually here though, because I'm looking at it.
A nice casino on the river.
Blundell is the barrier. There's like no houses there. It's a golf course. Uh-oh.
So
oh, okay. No, that's plenty of houses.
So they're gonna inherit all these businesses,
dude. That's crazy.
Damn, I'd have to be like, come and take it. Come and take my home, And I tell them to take a look at what happened to the Palestinians when they try to take my home.
Bro, what if it turns out like the people who live there are Jewish?
Nah, definitely not. There are no Jews in Canada. That's they probably are.
or if they were black.
No, I don't care.
Imagine if all these people were black business owners. Oh man,
I don't even. There are very few black people in Canada.
really?
I can't believe most of these Canadian stories about Native Americans, because a few years ago there was like some story about how under a school there were like dozens of corpses allegedly of Native American children that they were like they genocided, and then it turned out the whole thing turned out to be like a huge stupid hoax.
Yeah.
They're gonna find out years from now
for,
this
I
like
forgot
permission
what.
slip they have.
You remember that? It was.
No, they're gonna find out years from now this permission slip they have for this land is fake. They're gonna be like, oh yeah,
they made it up.
I saw
So there's
just drafted it in the bathroom real quick, and
there's like a
off
renovation
as
company.
real.
Like there's a grocery store. Is that a grocery store? Looks like it. Can I? Oh, it's a tennis court. Oh, look at this. Let's go to Canada. I'm dropping in. A lot of trees. I guess all the people who live here now are. It's for sale. Remax. Well, this is what they want for you here in America.
Yes.
If the left ever takes over, they're going to take your home from you. They even remember when Ben and Jerry's was like land acknowledgement, the land we're on
yeah.
for our ice cream or whatever, and it's like, well, give it back.
aren't they
Give it
doing really
away.
poorly now? Ben and Jerry's. I can't
Are they?
remember. I forgot.
Ben and Jerry's is awful.
I think the ice cream is still doing all right.
Is it?
I hate Stephen Colbert.
No,
and I hate Ben and Jerry's. But
I don't
flavor,
believe
man.
so. I believe that I would be willing to bet. Let me check. Are Ben and Jerry's sales down? The reason why like soda sales are down, younger people aren't buying trash anymore. They're taking their health very seriously.
Yeah, drinking's down. Cigarettes are down.
Booze, man. Well,
They're
I've been
doing
saying
Zin though.
Sure, but we used to. So at the old studio, we had this nice bar with expensive booze. and people would periodically pour like a scotch or something. And then slowly over time, nobody was drinking it. In fact, we've been here now, it's been what, a year and a half at the new studio? And we still have the bottle of Louis from years ago back at the castle untouched because nobody drinks. People started coming and they'd be like, no, I stopped drinking. And we stopped buying. We were like, okay. We used to, like every 4 months, we'd go to this liquor store and buy some like low to high end, a few high end and a lot of like mid-tier drinks for people. Nobody drank.
Yeah, drink is more of a social thing. I think more people prefer like eating good food. Like if I had to choose between going out for drinks with friends or going out to get like really, really good food, I'm going to choose the food.
Look, I think it speaks to the company you keep, and you guys seem like you spend a lot of. You're both married men, not spending a lot of time with degenerates, which is great. Probably health conscious.
Work in politics.
I spent a lot of time in New York City, and now I spend a lot of time in DC. There are a lot of drunk degenerates. The bars are always full to the brim, and
Are they liberal?
I know a lot of people. No, like right wingers drink.
To some degree, you're right.
A lot.
To some
Not the
degree,
ones that come on this show, to be honest.
To some degree, you're right, but I've spent plenty of time around people that drink plenty of booze in my time, being in a band and touring and stuff. I mean, there's people in my band that, would have a couple once in a while, but essentially they don't really drink. I haven't had anything considerable to drink in almost 10 years, so.
Statistically, drinking is down, though. It is down.
I just want to add to, for those that, now that we're in the middle of the show, for those that saw my tweet where I said I was going to be on the ground in Portland, I'm trolling. And I'm telling you all this now because if anybody, so first, because the left, I know how Twitter works, they're going to start sharing this tweet among all their people.
Yeah, you already got a threat level.
Right. Yeah. And they're going to be like, oh, Tim Pool's going to be here. Watch out for him. And they're going to go nuts. And it's a waste of their time. However, in the event any one of them is actually watching the show, and then in Portland, they're like, no, Tim Pool said in his show he's not coming, they're going to out themselves as watching Timcast IRL. No, I just watch it to know what they're thinking. So I thought it was funny to tweet. And there are people that are like, I feel bad because there are people being like, yeah, let's go, Tim, you can do it. And I was like, no, I'm not going there. Are you nuts?
Baiting people with the Portland bait, baiting people with Nick Fuentes. We're going to have a lot of extra viewers tonight.
Yeah, it's funny how like the Fuentes thing is so triggering to so many people on the right.
Well, I think it confirms a lot of people's preconceived notions about getting the phone call and, gatekeeping this show.
No. People on the right are attacking me for booking Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. Platforming, so-called.
Yes.
What do you think of that attack?
You've always had controversial people on. It's not new. Like I don't know why people are upset.
Well, I don't think
we've had leftists who have advocated child sex changes on the show.
I don't think Tim's introducing the idea of Nick to people. Nick is already like mainstream as far as I'm concerned. Right. People are very well aware of who he is, and I don't think Tim would be adding much to that by having him on, if anything.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, back in the day, we had been talking with when Cassandra was doing booking about having Nick on, and I was just like, they'll ban the show in 2 seconds, so we need to find, like, it's got to be something particularly news relevant we can have him on for that makes it harder for them to remove. And so that was kind of the idea. And then I guess he got offended by the idea or whatever, because it's like the stupidest thing in the world where it's like, Tim, why don't you burn your show down? Why don't you, like, hey, you should have on someone that YouTube is going to ban your show for. It's like, why? We're trying to have the conversation with Nick, and we're trying to navigate censorship. He, too, is trying to navigate, and we're trying to figure out how to do it. So now YouTube's basically lifted all these restrictions, and now there's nothing to worry about at all. So we were like, yeah, Nick, come on the show whenever you want. We consistently invite crackpot psychopath leftists all the time. Nick is the least of, like, I would actually argue, in terms of opinion, Nick is substantially less controversial than any one of these leftists that's arguing children should have sex changes. Yeah. And we've had like 4 or 5 of these leftists on who are like, abortion until 9 months. Like Matt Bender's a good example. He wants abortion until 9 months. And I'm like, has Nick said anything anywhere near extreme as that? He's got bad opinions about, I guess, the Jews. Is that how you feel, Elaad?
Some bad opinions about the Jews, some racist opinions about the blacks, but I don't think it's extremely like out of the ordinary, especially like in this day and age.
But this is what's crazy to me, and this is an interesting conversation, by the way, that the corporate press for years under the Democrats said it's okay to advocate for abortion up to 9 months and child sex changes, but being racist is far too extreme. And my attitude was kind of like, well, being racist, I think is bad, But if someone sits down and says that they don't want to be around other people because of the color of their skin, I say, well, I think that's ignorant, but there's nothing threatening about that. And then if you get someone on the left saying they want to advocate for a policy where they kidnap children from their homes, bring them to the Pacific Northwest and give them sex changes, I'm like, you are aggressing upon children. Like, one is substantially more extreme than the other.
I will say this, though. I don't even really know what Nick actually believes, because I feel like every time he says something, it's layered underneath so much irony that, like, there's no actual real belief or pitch or idea that
changes. It changes every month.
And then there's like the way he defends what he says.
I think they pull clips out of context from his show, and his show is watched by he's got a core audience that is not massively mainstream. He's getting a lot more attention as of recent. And because of this, it makes him an easy target for taking clips of him out of context and then installing views for him, which makes it really hard for people to actually know what he thinks. So the presumptions are that he said things that are very offensive. There's a viral video on Instagram where he talks about how nobody wants to live near black people and everyone's afraid to say it. And the funny thing is, he's actually correct. I've made this point on this show. I think the issue is he says it a little crudely. What I've said on this show is when I worked at Fusion, I knew this lefty. She was a Latina. And I was talking to her about, we were working on the Ferguson documentary where he talked about property values, how black people, they get arrested, they go on tour, it's called. And she said, I knew that she had investment property in New York. And so she was talking about racism, redlining, blockbusting. And, she was saying her typical woke stuff. And I knew she was full of it. So I said, what would you do if a black family moved next to your investment property? She's like, I'd sell it. And she was a Latina, woke, liberal, working at Fusion. And I laughed and I was like, what? I was like, this is the test. What do you mean you'd sell it? And she goes, the property value will go down. And I'm like, exactly. Nick Fuentes says that kind of stuff, and he says it in a way they say it's offensive and racist or whatever. But there are a lot of people that have historically and traditionally known this, whether it's because they hate black people or not, property values go down.
Dude,
I've talked about it all the time on this show.
In 2001, Dr. Dre released a song called Still DRE, and there's a line in it that says, spend time out the hood, take they moms out the hood. Even Dr. Dre knew getting out of the hood was a good thing.
Well, I think the issue is that the issue I take with Nick is when he says nobody wants to live near black people. I do believe there are a lot of people of all racial backgrounds, including there are black people who feel this way, like you mentioned with Dr. Dre. But I feel the issue is the problem with it is that maybe there's some profiling you can do over race, but you go to Hyde Park in Chicago, which is a black neighborhood, and they're all wealthy and rich, and it's very safe. So the issue isn't inherent to being black. There's a cultural issue, a poverty issue, gang issue. You figure out where it stems from. There are wealthier black neighborhoods. But here's the issue. Is like, I understand Nick's point. If you could go to the average person and read their mind and ask them about what he said, they would agree with what Nick said. And I'm going to stress this again. People can pretend not to be racist all they want, but the housing market has shown this historically. And even woke libs agree that there is a fear that when black people move into a neighborhood, property values go down. This is what's called blockbusting. So y'all figure it out. But he makes that point. It goes viral on Instagram. He's getting a lot more attention for saying stuff like that. My point is ultimately this. I don't care if liberals take that out of context. There is this very strange phenomenon where what Nick said is bannable, persona non grata, shut him down for having said it. And then a leftist can go on TLC and talk about waking up their son in the middle of night saying, stick the dilator inside, I'll put the lubricator, do it, or I'll wring your neck. And that was Jazz Jennings. And I'm like, Nick Fuentes having naughty opinions doesn't bother anybody. It might make you go, ooh, I don't like that guy. Sure, but you're fine in your house ordering your Papa John's and watching football. What the left is doing, they pass laws where they say if you take a child who's not yours and bring them to California, they won't return the child to their proper family and they will give the child a sex change and sterilize them. One is infinitely more dangerous, extreme than the other. That's the weird imbalance in this country. Maybe it's changing now. I'll be honest, I'd prefer neither the racism nor the child sex changes, but again, one is infinitely more extreme than the other.
I think it is changing, didn't a recent poll show that the whole trans thing is dying out?
Yes.
Kids are not.
Yeah. And that's definitely true. But it's also worth noting, in the United States and in the West more broadly, but specifically in the United States, we're one of the least racist societies in human history.
Yeah.
Right? Like really, really not racist. So even though contextually, compared to what we were like 20 years ago when race relations were at their essentially the peak and they were at their best, even now where there are people that'll make racial jokes, we're still far less racist than everywhere else in the world. And so people freak out about things that Nick Fuentes says, but that's only because of the context, only because they're here in the U.S. If you look at the way that the rest of the world behaves, things that Nick Fuentes says are not in any way shocking. It's not a surprise. Now, whether or not he's actually correct, I'm not actually. I mean, there's some things he's right about, some things that he's wrong about. But to discuss race in the way that Nick does, in the context globally, it's not in any way outside of the norm.
When I see these leftists constantly complain that America's like really racist and we've got like a racial problem, it just tells me that they don't travel internationally.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It's a very clear sign they don't travel internationally. You go to any country, almost any country outside the U.S., and it's incredibly racist. I mean,
Korea's great.
Japan's the same way. They have restaurants where they literally won't let you in if you're a non-Japanese. They just won't serve you.
Yeah.
Were they racist against
they're
you
allowed
on
to.
your
And
visit?
I don't want. Listen, I've been to
Why not?
Because of the Asian.
I've been to Japan
So
like
you admit it? Okay.
I've been to Japan like 8 or 9 times. I don't want Japan to change. Like I love going to Japan. It's awesome. I don't want to see them change anything for me or anyone else. Like,
No, they should have more McDonald's and Starbucks and Gucci stores.
I totally disagree. Japan is awesome the way it is, and if there are places in Japan that want to say, Phil, you can't come in because you're a white guy, cool. Because there are other places in Japan
Bro.
that will let me in.
Phil.
I don't care.
I'm gonna tell you, in 20 years, your kid's gonna be like, I really want to go to Japan, and they're gonna go to Japan, and you know what they're gonna hear when they go to the convenience store?
Hopefully not the call to prayer.
They're not. I was gonna make a different joke. They're not going to hear konnichiwa or konbanwa. They're going to hear thank you for coming to the store
They're already seeing that.
If they're new
because
new
they're
prime
not,
minister has anything to do
they're not having kids.
Right.
That's
Well,
true.
no, I think, please fact check me, but I think that they've turned that around. I think Japan is the leading Asian country that is now seeing a spike in birth. I could be wrong, but I think that they have turned that around.
You know what they need to make?
More Japanese people?
They need to make a show called Dragon Ball Babies, and it's Goku, and he just has an epiphany where he's like, I need to have more kids.
Well, they kind of put out anime that's like more family focused. I think like Spy Family was one of them that's like supposed to inspire people to have kids.
2024 was a 5.7% decline from 23.
Okay, so
Total fertility rate dropped to 1.15 in 24. In the first half of 25, the number of births dropped 3.1 from the same period in 24.
just doing worse.
Deaths in Japan exceeded births by a large margin. Population decline continues. They don't have babies.
I don't know what kind of propaganda they were telling you in Japan, Tony, but their numbers.
Well, I'm here to
are
shill
down.
Japanese.
They started bringing in African and Indian migrants into Japan. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.